Some of you know that sometimes I open my contribution by saying I bring good news and there's some bad news. I'm glad to tell you I bring good news to you today, and the good news is, some of you might have heard it, that the TUC announced that tens of thousands of people have marched through the streets of Manchester today.
Yeah.
The police have said 20,000 people marched through, so I think we can safely say we can double that. We might be looking at 40,000 people in the streets of Manchester today. And let me just tell you how this has come about. Right to Work initiated this demonstration today. We said to the TUC, you should brand this March for the Alternative 2. That's what you should brand this. They brand it Manchester for the Alternative. And you know, for the Right to Work activists out there amongst you, this is a day to be proud of.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, if it wasn't for the activity that we've done over months and months, we would not be here today. We are the organisation that has put out tens of thousands of leaflets along with the TUC. And it's a credit to everybody that's been involved both in Manchester and nationally, and I'd like to thank you all for the hard work that you've been doing. It also justifies Right to Work's strategy regarding building a united front to fight the cuts. We've said all along that the beating heart of this movement is the trade union movement. This is not to exclude Barack and DPAC and others who are playing an excellent part in the fight back, but it's also to recognise that ultimately the real punch we can land against this government is through the trade union movement. And today is part of that process in building that political momentum. But the other part of the good news is that there are different groups, and there's often, Lee mentioned it, there's often debates about we should have one campaign. The good news is there isn't a campaign at the moment that isn't supporting the 30th of November. That's the truth of it, whether it's the Coalition of Resistance, the National Shop Stewards Network, ourselves. Perhaps the only organisation that we do need to work on is the Labour Party. That's the organisation that we can start working on. And when, you know, at the conference last week, Ed Miliband had in front as a symbol of the future young people with brooms from Manchester. I don't know if anybody's seen that. I say he should have had the young people from Manchester without a future. They're the people he should have had on the front of his conference. Not only that, I want to pledge today to leave the people in no doubt where Right to Work's position is regarding Labour councils. We will be campaigning in the next few months to ensure that not one single cut is made by a Labour council in this country. We will fight again until we hopefully persuade the Labour Party to do that. But it's really all about November the 30th, isn't it? That's really what we're all focused on now. You know, let's call it what it is. It's a public sector general strike. That's what it is. And I expect a lot of us have been inspired this year by what's happened in Cairo and Egypt. I know I have personally, and it actually doesn't really seem that it's only in January, February and March that all that took place, does it? But it's ongoing, and I just want to tell you about a little story about a general strike that has taken place. I do want to tell you a story about a general strike that took place in Cairo in the last week. Yesterday I had a message that the bus workers had struck across Cairo and also in Alexandria, and they struck to try and get 200% wage rise. Yeah. I had a message come through to me yesterday saying they were successful. The Prime Minister said that given that was a message yesterday. However, I had another message today saying, Paul, that was the wrong message. The bus driver said, that's not enough, we want more. And this is the message I've received today from Cairo, and I have to read it out to you, and I hope this will inspire everybody that's going to take strike action on November the 30th. Situation as of Sunday AM. Minister of Labour and President of Industrial Union Federation announced a deal Friday meeting all workers' demands, including rise in bonuses of 200%. Workers refuse to end strike until they are sure the promise will be kept. Saturday, they escalated protest, and 3,000 bus drivers with their buses blockaded Main Street of Parliament. That is the equivalent of our Whitehall. 3,000 drivers blockaded the equivalent of our Whitehall. Currently thousands, this is today, are there chanting against the Minister of Labour and the Prime Minister's office as well. These are the key points regarding the Egyptian strike. They're not just about pay and immediate demands. Bus strike demands include refurbishment of the bus fleet. Teachers and health workers want investment in education and health. Other crucial demands including the abolition of fixed-term contracts, maximum wage to redistribute wealth. Workers have also won the renationalisation of 6 companies which were sold off in dodgy privatisation deals. Just to let you know, all the buses in London are privatised. That's nothing. That's certainly something that could be done in this country. It should be an inspiration for that. We need to set our sights higher. If workers in Egypt not only dare to dream of these things, but are prepared to take on the full might of the military dictatorship to fight for them, surely we can finish with Cameron and his rotten gang. And I'm going to finish on this point, and that's what November the 30th should be all about. That one day of public sector general strike, it should be a day of national renewal. It should be a day of national regeneration. That's what it should be about. It should be about reminding the ruling class in this country and wider about the people who actually really do the work in this country, who really do create the wealth. Because if we suddenly withdraw our labour on that day, that will show them who's really running this country. It's our society. We need to start sending that message out. It's our society, and we're not going to pay the price for the financial crisis that they created. It's our society, and on November the 30th, we've got to make sure that that day of regeneration, that day of renewal, perhaps also goes on to another day of regeneration and renewal, and another day. And we perhaps stay out until we get all what we want, just like the Egyptian workers have done today in Cairo. Thank you.